Hello again, everybody. The sunshine cheers the soul, and the rain cheers the land. It's a win-win situation, and it's also means it's another perfect day to be in this perfect way, and how truly blessed we are. And we've missed the sweet fellowship of with you in our fields lately, but we're in here in North America anyway. We've been at preps and just having wonderful fellowship, getting ready for conventions, ones that are still in existence anyway. And we just love preps. We love perps so much as workers. We do anything for perps. I mean preps, and it's all part of our service, our ministry, the one true misery that we can be for you as God's servants in this perfect way. Yeah, the one true ministry. And that's what I want to talk about. As the ministers, it's not our job to enforce rules or tell you what to do, even though we gladly do that anyway. But it's our job, as one brother recently said, to exhort you. Isn't that a nice thought, that we can exhort you? And part of our job and extorting you is to maybe provide some guidance, because we know there's some troubling things out there, people saying all sorts of awful things and making accusations against the wolves in sheep's the good shepherds that we are. And so there are these rather upsetting accounts of well, I'll just say it, of sexual abuse of people who were in this perfect way. And we know the way is perfect and the people aren't. In fact, it would seem at this point none of the people are, but it's a perfect way. So just keep telling yourself that. Perfect way. And so a lot of these accounts of abuse, and as the true ministers, we have for years done all we can to make sure that these accounts are never heard of. We tell the victims that it never happened, or we don't believe them, not to call the police. God wouldn't want that. A lot of very nice spiritual and emotional coercion, and we're very proud of how well we've protected the image of this perfect way. But we're seeing now, and it's very shocking and horrifying, not that there are hundreds and hundreds of accounts of abuse, and probably thousands that aren't being told that happened in our precious little fellowship, but it's truly horrifying, isn't it, that the people are actually reading about it and hearing about it, and that's just not something we feel is profitable for the soul. And we're thankful that when we feed on things that are encouraging and positive, that God will give us peace and stillness. And so we exhort you. We exhort you to not go to the social media sites where these accounts are compiled. We don't want you reading about how people were abused by workers or elders, and we don't want you reading about how overseers and other workers covered it up and gaslighted victims. It's not profitable. We extort you to, as ministers, that's our job. And just a nice little spiritual thought to help us understand the importance of this is in Luke 10. And we read in Luke 10, in a precious word of God here, we read in Luke 10 about a man who went down from Jericho to Jerusalem, or Jerusalem to Jericho, whatever, and he fell among thieves and was beaten. And we come in Luke 10, verse 30, where he says, "And Jesus answering them, a certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho, and fell among thieves, which stripped him of his raiment, wounded him, and departed him, and leaving him half dead. And by chance there came down a certain priest that way, and he saw him, and he passed on the other side." And isn't that nice, that we could be like this priest when we see someone who's been abused and badly injured and hurt, that we could just pass to the other side of the road, as it were. And we read on, it says, "And likewise a Levite." And we know Levite priests were holy men, like those of us in the fellowship and very self-righteous, concerned with legalism and enforcing rules. And so we're thankful that we can look to this Levite. And verse 32 says, "And likewise a Levite, when he was at the place, came and looked on him and passed on the other side." And so that's really nice that we read out of two people in the Bible. Jesus spoke of them, that they just walked on by. They didn't dwell on the negative or anything that would upset them and take their peace. They didn't question the perfect way, the perfect priesthood, did they? Or blame the one true misery, but they just walked on by. And so may we be ones to follow the words of Jesus and obey the Bible when we see these accounts on websites or social media, that we just pass by. We don't read them. And remember, as always, to like, subscribe, and stay off the internet.